London, Gareth here, and it's Quick Tip Tuesday. Today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. If you're a regular to the channel, you know that I was recently in Aber. There's several Quick Tip Tuesday vlogs shot there in the west of Wales, and I've come back with a book haul, so I thought I'd share what I found with you just for a fun change to the routine on a Tuesday. So there are two great bookshops in Aber. There are others too, but the two that I usually visit are Ystwyth Books, which is a second-hand bookshop mainly, does have some new books, and it's a real Aladdin's cave of corridors and a room upstairs, chock-a-block with second-hand books. And then Shop Pethau, which was the first, I think, ever Welsh language bookshop, which sells books then in Welsh, cards, newspapers and so on in Welsh, and also Welsh interest materials too, and some crafts. So let's start with some of the second-hand books from Ystwyth Books. The first one that caught my eye was actually this, Teach Yourself Catalan. This is an older edition in the Teach Yourself series. So as it's an older book, as is often the case, I think they tend to have a bit more grammar in them, packed with information and exercises. I do have a contemporary Catalan book, which is here in the colloquial series. So colloquial Catalan, I haven't started working on that yet. I actually share my house here with a couple of Catalans at the moment, so I'm rather missing out on a trick. But the books are there, ready to go at some point with that language. Another one I picked up was another old book from the Teach Yourself series. This is Comparative Linguistics, Robert Lord. And there's an awful lot of information in here. It's an overview of linguistics. It'll be a bit dated, but I still think I learned stuff from it, and it was only £2, so you can't go wrong really. To move to the newer stuff from Shop Pethau, I picked up a couple of books actually for on the Welsh language. So there's Iawn Bob Tro, which is by David Glyn Jones, who's a well-known academic and author in Welsh and a campaigner, particularly for Welsh medium higher education. This is a book dealing with all those typical native mistakes that you get in a language. So my written Welsh is at a level where I can benefit from this now. Not a book for beginners though. Similarly with Aber Ysgrifennu Cymraeg by Gwyn Thomas, which is another a very accessible, I think, grammar book in Welsh for those niggling questions you might have about the language at an advanced level, or if you're a native speaker. Then moving on to things which are maybe more personal to me in some ways. I've got, first of all, this is Cyfarthogau'r Cyfathrebu. That's to say, more specialist interest. This is llawllyfr ymarferol I Diwtoriaid Cymraeg I Oedolion. So, enriching the communication, a practical handbook for Welsh to adults teachers. It's a collection of articles by specialists in the field. I actually qualified as a Welsh teacher as well as an English teacher, and many of the things covered in here are the sort of things that we discuss on the site too. For example, how to develop reading skills, informal learning. So I'm looking forward to looking at some of those articles. And then a couple of translations into the Welsh, both collections of short stories actually. This is Storia o'r Ffinneg, stories from the Finnish, and there are in here by different authors, 15 different short stories. There's a strong short story tradition in Welsh, stronger I think historically than the novel tradition in a way. There wasn't the market to sustain perhaps writers who could devote themselves to writing full novels before the end of the 20th century perhaps really, so there were fewer novels, but there have been throughout the 20th century a lot of short stories. And in Finnish there's obviously a strong short story tradition too. I find it interesting actually the way that if you learn one minority or lesser used language, it's often a bridge into others. Finnish obviously is not a minority language like Welsh, but it is a language with, you know, one of the lesser used languages in a sense. Maybe the editor here was inspired by the sort of the common experience of being a language which has been discriminated against in the past, and a sort of a common sympathy perhaps there. And then the final one is Gema Hungaria, Hungarian Games, or Games of Hungary, which is actually also another collection of short stories by different Hungarian authors. Both of those mean something to me because I lived in Finland for a year, learnt some basic Finnish, and I've also learnt quite a lot of Hungarian in the past. I want to go back to that at some point. So that's another book which appealed to me, not only because it's in Welsh, but because of the subject matter. It's a funny thing, isn't it, when people go into a bookshop, different things are going to appeal to different people, even if we've got a shared common interest such as language. So have you recently picked up anything interesting when you've been browsing the shelves in connection with your language learning or developing your language skills? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video if you did, and it would be great if you subscribe to the channel. So diolch yn fawr am wylio, welech chi'r tro nesa, a hwyl fawr.